Welcome back for another Sunday gathering of adjusters. It's week 38. That's crazy. 38 weeks. We've been at it. Our topic still for this month is steadfast. I would like to welcome everyone to the Laboratory of Redemption. I would like to go over our mission statement, our vision, and our core values. Our mission statement at the 360 Adjuster Academy is to provide premier training and mentorship to new and existing independent insurance adjusters so that they can become subject matter experts within the insurance adjuster industry. Our core principles are faith, which is a firm belief in something for which there is no proof; integrity, firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values; resilience, the ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change in spite of any circumstance; and production. Production is the act or process of creating something of value, such as goods, services, and specifically in the insurance adjuster industry, closing a claim. Our business model at the 360 Adjuster Academy is confine your vision within our vision. So with that being said, a self-introduction. I am Kayvon Quasey Hill. I'm an independent insurance adjuster. I'm a part of the marketing team here at the 360 Adjuster Academy. I've been an insurance adjuster for 2 years now. I acquired my license in September of 2021. I got my first deployment in May of 2022. First deployment was a pretty crazy deployment, farm and ranch. Started out in Minnesota, some pretty steep and high roofs with some claims that had 6 to 7 structures. I was thrown to the wolves, man, but through God's grace and mercy, I was able to, learn and gain some valuable information and knowledge on my first deployment, and that translated over into my other deployments. I did stay deployed consistently for a consecutive amount of time. My most recent deployment was in Indiana. I was out there for 7 months, handling all type of claims, wind and hail, tornadoes. I had some freeze claims, backup sewage drain, anything you can think of, I was handling out there. But throughout my time as an adjuster, through all the ups and downs, like I always say, this is the best decision that I've ever made in my life to choose this career path. And it's taught me so much, as far as, being resilient and weathering the storm, literally and figuratively. It's a lot to learn in the insurance adjuster industry, not only about the specific thing at hand as far as learning about insurance, but to learn about yourself. When you're out there on that road and all it is you and your laptop and God, you learn a lot about yourself sometimes. So um if you chose to be an insurance adjuster, you chose a good thing. So no matter what's going on currently right now, as far as us being in this patient waiting phase, stay the course and just have faith and have steadfast faith. And with that being said, I would like to address what our topic of the month steadfast means to me. That's basically just being unwavering, and that could be in anything. You can have steadfast loyalty, you can have steadfast faith, whatever it may be. But I like to always address it in terms of having steadfast faith, because that's where we're at with it right now. The current season that we're in the waiting phase. As far as waiting on those phone calls, waiting on the severe weather to pop off, so that we all can go back to work. Get that energy flowing, get that money flowing. Everyone in here, we're trying to get to that 100K club. So specifically, is just having that steadfast faith is you know not knowing what's going to happen, but believing that what's destined and what's meant to happen, God's will is going to happen. So just keeping that steadfast faith is very important, especially as an adjuster, because we have a lot of unforeseen circumstances that come in this industry. You never know what type of claim you're going to wake up to tomorrow, how many structures, you don't know how steep that roof is going to be. So it's just, always keep the faith and trust that, where you're headed and everything that happens is all according to the big plan from the big man above. So with that being said, I would like to announce our guest speaker for today, financial guru, Coach Ryan Walker. I would like to also give a reminder to everyone in here to fill out our feedback form as well. And if you have any questions that you need answers for throughout the entirety of this Sunday gathering, please feel free to drop the questions in the chat. We will get an answer for you. And with all of that being said, I would like to introduce and transition over to the wonderful Janae. If you would like to come on out.
All right, can you guys hear me okay? Just throw a 2 in the chat if you can hear me. I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome to week 38. Thank you all for joining us on this Easter Sunday. You know, I know a lot of you guys are with family or, you know, just out celebrating. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for joining us. I do appreciate you guys, you know, just kicking it with us for a little bit. I will try not to be long-winded today and just, you know, get to it. I want to say, I just want to start off by saying, well, for those that don't know, my name is Janae. I've been adjusting for a little over a year, so I'm relatively still new to the industry. But I share the same sentiments as Kayvon said. It's an amazing industry, and I'm so happy that I have made it here. I'm so happy that we get together every week together too, to just help us all stay motivated and help us stay positive within this. We're all patiently waiting for that call, you know, for those deployments to start popping off, and we're remaining steadfast in this journey. You know, some of us are renewing licenses or getting new licenses. I know that the Michigan, for those that don't have Michigan, I think that one's only like $20, so it's still, you know, still time to get that one as well. You know, some of us are brushing up on our Xactimate skills, but the point is that we're staying ready. You know, the point is that when we get those calls, we want to make sure we can maximize the opportunity. There's no time to fumble any opportunity that is presented to us. We've been talking about this for weeks now. So for the procrastinators out there, which used to be me as well, get your ducks in a row. Historically speaking, April is when some of those early big storms can pop off. I know one of our very own Meech, he was in Illinois. Illinois had a huge hailstorm last year, April 4th, where it affected over 1 million homes. Over 1 million homes were damaged. So the point is to stay patient. It will happen. The time will come. When you get that phone call, there should be no reason for you to hesitate now. As long as we've been waiting, there should be no hesitation. You should be saying yes before they even finish the sentence. You know what I mean? Like, let's get to it. Exactly. It's game time. I'm so ready. And I know everybody here has been patient and they're ready to get out there. The energy that we will get once we get out there and get competitive within this organization is going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. I'm very, very, very much excited. But I just want to say again, just have your ducks in a row. There should be no reason that anyone here is saying, oh, I can't make it to this or that. But without further ado, like I said, I'm not going to be long-winded. I want to bring on our very own Coach Ryan. If you could come off mute and just bless us with your time, I'd appreciate that.
Hey, yo. Hey,
let's go.
Let me first and foremost say it's a blessing and a honor to be able to have you guys' attention, to give you something that I think is helpful. Just know that I don't take this opportunity lightly, and I definitely appreciate your time. Just to give you guys who may not have heard me speak before, a little bit of background info on me. I was a business development manager for a top 500 company, a Fortune 500 company, and I managed a multi-million-dollar book of business. And, you know, it was business to business transactions. From that, I went into being a sales market trainer for a Fortune 100 company. I dealt with sales channel development, establishing marketing strategies, hiring and training. And then from there, I started some entrepreneurial endeavors. I got a couple licenses in the process. And then in 2017, I decided to become, you know, a full-time self-employed individual. And it comes with, you know, everything that you guys can imagine taking a leap of faith comes with, right? Which is what you're doing here. You're getting ready for something amazing to happen that hasn't happened yet, right? And when I tell you you exist, and when before it happens is one reality and after it happens is a totally different reality. And the best thing you can do in order to help yourself get into the reality you want is to start preparing for it as though it's already happened. Right. And so I think it's so amazing, just, the way things work out when you know you're on the right path. A lot of you guys know that this is tax time. I own a company called New Legacy Firm, and we focus on financial literacy, establishing home ownership, and things like that. Just taking the years of experience I got from corporate America, and decided, you know what, we could be going about a lot of these things a way better way, but just schooling and life doesn't prepare us to understand these things, how businesses really operate, how you do set yourself on a path of financial freedom that leads to wealth and legacy, right? And so, getting these licenses put me in a position to where it allowed me to change my reality, but it didn't happen until I started preparing as though it already did. So April is the tax deadline, right? The day is April 15th. Okay. All year, kind of what I talk about is something relating to tax implication or acquiring assets, right? Because once that is the positioning, that is the preparation. Like people who have net worths, right? They plan to file their taxes the way that they do. They plan to acquire the type of assets that helps them on their taxes. And why are we talking about this? Because these deployments happen. And like I said, New Legacy Firm has a tax division, and I have clients from this group. And let me tell you guys, the money is real. People can tell you something on the internet, right? I'm the guy behind the scenes looking at the tax statements. So this money is really real. And the tax bill that comes with it is too.
Hey, you promised the money real? You promise? You promise money's real?
Okay. Oh man, but hold on, but listen, the money's real, but so is the tax bill, right? So the deadline coming up, what I was asked to talk about is how do you, maximize the money that you're making so you don't pay so much in taxes, but also avoid the bill surprise at the end of the year, right? Because that's a fine, path to weed. Because I see some people will go exempt, and and then they just say, "Oh, I'll pay the bill at the end of the year," which used to be okay. And we'll kind of talk about, why that isn't anymore. And then you have some people that just, get taxed at 30-40% and then just take it at the end of the year with no planning. I mean, when I say they take it, they really take it. So Major has a couple slides that I'll talk through, and what this means for you guys as you get ready to make that money. So Major, are you able to get that slide up? I can't hear you if you responded. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to read it from my actual document because when I go into it on Zoom, it's kind of, so if you don't see me or something, that's why. So the W-4 form is what sets how much taxes come out of, your check. And I know it's Easter, so I'll be very straightforward. So you set your W-4 based on the rate in which the rate you want things to be taken out of your check. The problem is when you make 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 in a month, they're going to tax you at an exorbitant rate, right? Because they're going to tax in a position of, okay, we're going to take as much as we think we need to, and then we'll give you whatever the overage is back at the end of the year. And so for filing, it used to be you could claim 99 exemptions and they wouldn't tax you hard. Or it used to be you can claim just the exempt status and they wouldn't tax you hard, but you had that bill at the end of the year. But they changed the rule back in 2020. Okay. And so the number one says, in order to claim the exempt status, because you can still claim it, but here's the implication. For the prior year, you had a right to a refund of all federal income tax withheld because you had no tax liability. That means that if you claim the exempt status, you have to have gotten a refund the prior year. That means to signify that you don't have a balance with them. And then for the current year, you expect a refund of all federal income tax withheld because you expect to have no liability. So that means you expect for the same thing to be true for the current year. And it doesn't say it has to be, it says what you expect. Okay. Major, let's get up slide number 2. All right, it says for employees claiming exemption from withholding, please note the following. A Form W-4 claiming exemption from withholding is valid only for the calendar year in which it's filed, right? So that means you have to do this every year. Now, why does that matter? Why do you want to claim exempt, right? You want to claim exempt so you don't get taxed at 40%. But there's now a penalty if you under withhold, meaning that you withhold and then you end up owing at the end of the year. That's a problem. So what you have to do is set the amount that you want to come out on your own. And a good rule of thumb is 10%, right? Not that 10% is going to stop you from owing, but it's going to say, if you need to claim the amount of deductions that are valid to claim so that you don't have a balance due, you're within reach. But we have deductions, and then they end up being audited knowing they don't even have close to that amount of deductions. So it's really easy. You claim your exempt status. This is how you save yourself from being just overtaxed. You can claim exempt, and then on the same W-4 form, you submit the stated amount you want to be withheld. So if I know I'm making $5,000 a month, I'm going to elect for 10% of that to be withheld, right? That means that when I get to the end of the year, it's very to avoid the penalty from under withholding. And so as
Hey,
you guys
Ryan,
go forth,
can you repeat that? You have broke up a little bit. I'll make sure that we get what you're saying, because that could have been an
okay.
important piece right there.
Okay. I'm sorry, and I'm in the car because it's Easter and we're having a family gathering. So forgive me for any technical difficulties. But what I was saying was, on the W-4 form, you submit the amount that you want to have taken, which, let's say if I'm making $5,000 a month, then I'm going to have $500 in federal withholding, right? Because that's going to put me within range based on my deductions to possibly even have a refund. And then I'll also avoid being penalized for under withholding the proper amount. Because with that law change, they are able to submit to your employer that you have a locked in withholding. And until you file 3 years with a refund, they will lock you into the amount of withholding they want you to have. Right. So there's a lot of myths about just taxes and how you file it. So I just want you guys to know that you can claim exempt, but you need to, with your exemption designation, submit the amount that you want to withhold. Now, this amount is based on what you put. So I can't tell you, hey, this is what you should do. But I will tell you that a great rule of thumb is 10%. Right? You want to go more or less based on your specific need, totally understood. But that's what I have for you guys today. And if there's any and I have one more thing. I'm sorry, last thing. For those that have been on these calls and we talked about real estate, right? And that is the best way to address a tax liability. There is a specific form when you purchase a property that allows you to claim 27 and a half years of depreciation. Just for easy math, depreciation could be a $5,000 deduction. There's a form that allows you to legally claim 27 and a half years of depreciation in 1 year. So those guys that have issues with back taxes or just bills and you need a strategy on how to address it, contact me. Let's talk. I definitely know that we can help you. But that's my time for you guys. Please don't, once you get these deployments, because it's going to happen, right? Get your taxes in order. Prepare get your taxes in order as though you are already making that amount of money. And I promise you, your reality will follow it. That's the time I got for you guys, and I appreciate your attention.
Hey, Coach Ryan, you have a moment for some questions before we go? And thank you. That was good stuff, by the way. Thank you. That was really good stuff for sure.
Absolutely. I wanted to give that, but you know, I definitely will. If you're good for it, I'm definitely open for it.
Okay, good deal, man. I'll make sure we get some questions and answers because this is a big deal. We're setting everything up because they give you all the paperwork they give to you. If you don't do anything all right, they'll just do it for you, and you'll be stuck at that 40%. That 40% sucks. You know, you thought you were about to get 20 grand as far as an income for the 2 weeks. Also, that 40% come on top of it. You're like, hey, it hurts your heart. Promise you, it does.
It really does.
I have a client, and I say I have quite a few clients in this predicament right now where they've made 6 figures, and due to a lack of knowledge and planning when it came to taxes, meaning they wouldn't have had to spend no additional money, right, in order to qualify for this. And there's people in this group that can attest. Had she had been paying herself on a W-2, giving herself the same amount of money, but doing it on a W-2, she would have been able to get a 6-figure tax credit in one payment, right? But simply because she didn't pay herself a specific way, she couldn't claim this credit. That's it. Like, y'all, get in position. Like, there's nothing you can do to put yourself in position better than filing your taxes the right way. Submitting your like for you guys who are making money on deployments and they're paying you W-2s, that's awesome. Because you're making a lot of money in a short period of time that it gives you the ability to go and make moves in a business world simply because you have that employment and that influx of money. But it's not going to look right if your taxes don't show it. Like, I got a client right now who is an adjuster, and his business only made $6,000 this year. But he makes so much money as an adjuster, his adjuster money that he makes gets him funding on his LLC. But his LLC only became valid because he submitted a Schedule C that says, hey, I am making some business money. It didn't cost him any additional money other than the tax preparation fee. But simply because he put that on there, that $6,000 a year making business can get funded. So, like, I know you're not on deployment yet, but that's great because it's hard to get yourself in position when you got, 10 claims coming in every day. Right? A part of my journey was getting adjusters. I started with a producer's license first. Right? A producer, you selling the policies. So it's a different ball game when you're an adjuster. And I did desk claims for auto. And at one point in time, I'm handling 150 claims at one time. Right? And that's just an 8-hour job. So you're on deployment, you 12 hours on, dog. You 12 hours on. Where you gonna find time to get yourself in position? And then they saying, like, this is the storm season when it picks up. Hey, man, let's take action. Faith without works is dead being alone, y'all. Like, that's how this faith that you having on this community, your works is putting yourself in position. That's your action. You can want this all day long, but wanting it ain't enough. You got to act behind it. We put stuff off every day, not knowing that us putting that stuff off is what's also delay the reality that we want to see. It's in our control, and it's coming. You gonna get in the way of it, or you gonna get out the way? What you gonna do? So let's take action, man. Let's keep being steadfast. A part of being steadfast is being still, but also a part of being steadfast is moving. So I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't hear no question.
Larry had a question. Larry put his hand up. Not sure if he saw the same question.
Larry, that was great.
I was just trying to see how to get certain information so that I can get in contact with you.
It's dropping in the chat.
Yeah, I'll definitely drop it in the chat.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all this. What's something that you think about or something that you heard how taxes work that you want to know if it's true? Like, do it really work this way? Because it seems like it's a lot of myth and legend. You
I got
know,
a question.
Yeah, the question when you done.
Okay. So my question is this: I was told, and this is something that I've heard from different adjusters. I've heard different things. So like, with us being adjusters and we're independent contractors, technically, like I've been told that there's a lot of things that we can write off, like as far as like food, gas, hotel, stuff like that, because there was like, food could be considered like a business meeting. Gas, like that's for work. And like specifically for myself, like I bought a vehicle last year, and it was like, you can write that off. And then in addition to that, not even specifically with work, I want to ask you as well, like if I tie to my church, is that considered a tax write-off as well? Because I heard that was a tax write-off as well. So, but besides that, is it true that we can write off certain things like food, gas, and
We
hotels and
lost
stuff
him
like that?
for a second.
Oh,
Yeah, I think he's gonna try to reconnect.
okay.
But that's a great question, especially about
It
the
is for
car.
sure.
Right, because like being honest, I went exempt for like a year straight, and I still need to file my taxes.
I think you can do because churches
I'm scared though.
nonprofit organization.
Why are you laughing, bro?
Scared. You about to tell me I owe them $50,000?
No,
from
that's
going
really
exempt.
like a fear of mine. Like, there's no way they could take this much taxes from me and they
Oh,
still
they
gonna be
get
like,
you. Oh,
yo,
they
you
do.
owe. Like, I
Right.
will, like, nah, they gonna have to
Right.
get that back in blood.
You
If
good.
they say
my
I owe,
fault,
I'm gonna be
Kayvon.
tight.
You good. You good. You good.
All right. Now, I didn't get your question. What was it?
Okay, so I was asking, specifically, it's two parts to the question. So, first of all, I want to know, like, if I tied to my church, if I tied 10% of like all my checks to church, could that be a write off for tax season? That's part one. And then number two, as far as like, I was told that like food, anytime you eat, anytime like you spend money on gas, hotels, Airbnb, stuff like that, that's considered a tax write-off as well. In addition to like, I purchased a car last year, and they said that when you buy a car, you can say that was for work, and that all of those things could be considered a tax write-off. So I want to know if that was like a fact or if that was a myth.
Okay. You know, those are amazing questions, because those are, like, I would say, I don't know if it will be in top 5. It's possible, but definitely in the top 10 of myths, or like things that are speculated about, right?
Okay.
So with the church thing, it is something that you can write off, but in order for you to write it off, the church has to issue you a form, right, showing that you gave that money. Now, people claim stuff without, valid documentation all the time, but I also say this: I have clients that, we are working through, helping them to validate the information they submitted on their taxes, and we help them to find that information, through these statements and stuff like that. But for some people, if you can't prove it, you can't, substantiate it. That's just like an insurance. You can't substantiate it, you have no claim. And then what was the other one again?
As far as like food, gas,
Okay.
buying a car,
Yeah.
like stuff like that.
So this is very this is directly proportionate to tax prep, and planning. So in order for you to claim those things, which are self expenses, are you self-employed, or did you just spend it working your W-2 job? Because that's just living expenses, and they give you a standardized deduction for that already, right? Now, if you have a business, right, whether it's a side hustle or whether it's something that you're really working on scaling up, right? But you have to designate that on your taxes. And that goes back to what we talked about, that Schedule C. So that client that only had $6,000 in actual business income had enough deductions through his business operations. I'm not going to give it to you guys on this call, because I want y'all to go back and really check all of our content. That's just super dope. But there is a call we had where I spoke about what this tax code was that allows you to claim all of those expenses for you to operate yourself as a business, right? But are you really operating yourself as a business if you haven't gave the IRS that designation? So it's true that you can claim those things, but you have to do the preparation of having that Schedule C, documenting the operations of this business the right way in order to claim those things. But it is something that is possible.
So if I didn't do that already, and I've already like had those expenses, you can't claim them like after the fact, right?
No, you can. It's just the way you do it, right? So when you filed your taxes, say you're filing taxes for 2023 this year, right? Let's say you've been operating a side hustle since 2021, right? But first you just started something you wanted to see if it's something you like first year. Second year, it was, what, this thing is all right. I might, stick to this. Third year, it's like, yo, this business made some money. I need to put this on my taxes because it's real now, right? So for 2023 tax return, you're going to submit the entire annual business statement on your Schedule C, right? That's what opens you up to claim these deductions. It's people claiming deductions, for cars and meals and food and all this kind of stuff on a tax return. All they got is a W-2. They don't have no 1099s, right? They don't have any business income statement. They don't even have a business that they advertise. And we're very adamant of making our clients as audit proof as possible, which is no such thing. But we want to get you like if you get asked about something, we want you to show it down to the dollar why you claimed it. So that's a big myth. Don't start claiming that stuff if you haven't filed a Schedule C on that tax return, because so many clients get themselves in positions of like, okay, why you got all these deductions? The IRS is looking at it. You don't have a business statement on here. Why are you claiming all this stuff? You got W-2. Your job paid for this stuff. And they get themselves in trouble. So, it's a great way to avoid it. It's by, planning the right way.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'll give you that Schedule C. The key word in that whole thing is Schedule C.
Gotcha. Appreciate that.
Most definitely. Anybody else got any questions?
Do you believe that you were potentially?
I can't see the chat right now. So if you have a question, want to come
Oh,
up.
my bad. Yeah, Coach, can you hear me, Coach? This is Trax.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. My question for you is this. Let's say someone is at that 40% and they didn't do and they didn't do all this saving up properly, wasn't set up properly from the very beginning. They're gonna hit that 40% tax rate, which sucks, right? They may not have a business or whatever it might be. What do you advise them to do as far as when filing their taxes this year?
My first question would be, do you have any hobby or endeavor that you pursued this year? Did you plan to get something going? That's important because that's when the business starts, right? So if you started planning something and you had startup costs, you're able to claim your startup costs. So there's a series of questions and interviews that we need to have to see if we can get that designation for you. If not, if you didn't do that, we want to get in position for excuse my language, but for dang sure this year, because hopefully we can make enough moves to offset whatever bill that may come from this year. So and I hope that answers the question. If it doesn't, we need to expound, let me know. But I'll talk about the boogeyman of the tax realm. It's like, oh, I owe money. And yeah, you don't want to owe the IRS money. But they're not the boogeyman, right? If you owe the IRS 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, they're not mad at you because you owe. They want you to address the tax bill for sure. They're not mad at you for owing. They're mad at you if you avoid them, right? So when you have a crazy tax bill, you plan your way out of it, right? There's a such thing called tax avoidance, right? It's two things. It's tax avoidance, and I can't remember the other one. But one is legal and one is tax avoidance and tax evasion. Tax evasion is illegal. Tax avoidance is very legal, right? We all should be practicing tax avoidance. Jeff Bezos made 24 billion, paid $0 in taxes. And we'll say, oh, I made too much money, I owe. He didn't make too much money. How can we? He just knows enough information. So that's how you address that, Travis. It's like just being serious about your tax plan. There's so many codes that's out here for people, but they're afraid of the boogeyman. He's not that scary, guys. I mean, I've seen six-figure tax debts settle for under $20,000. So my wife worked for a law firm. I worked for a law firm. We saw both sides of it. She was on the negotiator side. I was the one being the liaison, getting them set up with it. So we saw both sides of it, and they want to settle with you. They want to clear the debt. That makes the economy look great when they do that. So take this stuff head on, y'all. Take it head on. Know that, like, hey, it ain't bad like that, man. People get the $4 or $5 million. That's when they're coming after you. That's when it's worth it for them to come after you. If you just get caught in the sweep, that's just one thing. But hey, man, take this stuff head on. Get ready. The money is real, y'all. Look, okay, the money's real, right? It's not all about the money, but I'm a firm believer of the word, and the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil, right? But the Bible also says money answers all things, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
All right, good stuff, man.
One last thing too.
Great. Yeah.
So if someone hasn't filed taxes and like if they didn't file last year and they haven't filed this year, like how bad is that?
I love that question. I love that question. Listen, y'all. So a part of my motivation to get in the tax business was because I had to figure out my tax situation. I started my own business in 2010, and my marketing company from year one was a six-figure company, right? And I'm just young and hustling, right? I'm not doing Schedule C's. I'm walking around with pockets full of money, like it came on so fast, right? And then this is side hustle money, but I also have a corporate America job. The type of money I was making was, I shouldn't have been making that much money for what I was doing. And so when these bills start coming in, and I like, oh, it kind of scared me. So 2016, they're like, hey, you owe this much money, you owe this much money. So, I evaded them, right? But I'm still handling, business transactions for multi. So I'm seeing and learning a lot. All of my peers have degrees, but all glory to God, I was able to get in this door, right, and learn some things. And then in 2018, I had to get myself together. Right. In 2018, I had to get myself together, but I'm working for law firms that's handling taxes. My wife works for a law firm that's handling taxes and learning what I learned. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is real. We need to really teach the people that they are crucifying themselves financially because they don't know these things. If you take grandma's house that got left to your auntie that's worn out and nobody lives in, and you fix it up, and you claim depreciation on that house for 27 and a half years because you're not going to sell grandma's house, right? That's $100 and something thousand in tax incentive. So, but if you don't know this and your grandma's house gets so bad, they knock her house down, they clear the land, take the property, and then send you a bill. The only difference in them two severely different situations, the thing in the middle was knowing how to navigate it or not. That's real, y'all. When I say I don't talk about stuff I ain't been through, that's what makes me who I am. And I know that I give all glory to God for my experience. I know my experience is invaluable, right? And so I know that it's important for me to share these things with y'all because I'm speaking from firsthand perspective, right? I've been through the ups and the downs. I can help you navigate it. And there's people out here that can help you. Now, it's not just myself. So don't.
Okay, I guess we lost him for a moment. All right.
You know, I don't want this to come off as a sales pitch, but for sure, if you have those things that you might not have taken care of the right way, and it's something.
Come on, Service. I need to hit it.
Service, you can do it, baby. Come on, we're rooting for your Service. Isn't that right, Cliff? We're rooting. Come on, Service. Out of there, buddy. No, man, this is a big deal. And when we had a vision of this community, one thing we want to make sure that we do is service on all levels when it comes to taxes, because I understand that as an adjuster, you're making an absorbent amount of money. We'll make sure that we take care of that money and not get caught up on the back end, not knowing, because I didn't know nothing really about as far as the back end when it comes to the money that we make. So I'll make sure that we maximize what we have in front of us, but also to make sure we maximize our health as well. But more importantly, I want to say thank you guys for showing up. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. I'm super proud, super excited. Look forward to celebrating people. I look forward to celebrating and celebrating and celebrating and celebrating.
I can't wait.
Oh man, this is good stuff, man. I'm so excited about it, man. I'm not sure, Major. I'm not sure you're ready to roll, but I'll let Janae and them make things work right now with this good old birthday deal. We'll make sure that we celebrate birthdays too, once a month. Celebrate your birthday, because I remember as a kid, I never necessarily had a birthday party or whatever. Folks said birthday, but I never had like an actual, yeah, it's your birthday party kind of a deal. However, I want to make sure we recognize folks on their birthday, so that is a big deal.
For sure.
I'll let y'all go ahead and rock it. I'm gonna get off the microphone because I can keep it going for a long time.
Heard you. Yeah, Ryan really came in and just dropped so much stuff for me. I'm just sitting here like, just like listening to listening to every word he's saying, because I need to have a meeting with him at this point. I'm like, hold on.
Nah, for real.
But yeah, I'm sucks that we lost him with the service. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us this Sunday. I know it's Easter. People trying to get back to their families.
If you want to travel with your kid.
What? Oh, that wasn't me. Okay. I was just gonna say that we would like to start adding different segments to these weekly calls. So please fill out those feedback forms just so that we can make sure we hit the things that you guys want to see and want to hear about. Most importantly, we want to make sure that we're giving you valuable information and we're not just, hanging out just to hang out. So please fill out those forms for us so that we can get that together. And that's it for me. Kayvon?
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and close out our Sunday gathering. I would like to thank everyone for joining us this Sunday, week 38. With deployments coming around, there is severe weather that's going on right now, tomorrow and Tuesday, across the plains and everywhere. It's gonna be a lot of large hail tornadoes. So we'll be back working very, very soon here. So still we're challenging everyone to that 100K club challenge once we all get back working. And I would also like to invite everyone that's in here to please join us again for another episode of Laboratory of Redemption. We'll be back next week for week 39. Our guest speaker will be 360's own Dr. Travis Dion Brock. He'll be on here again, giving us some gems. So please join us next week. But that's all that we have for you this week. Enjoy your Easter Sunday with your family, and we hope to see your faces and your names again next week.
Yes, thank you guys.
Birthdays.
Two birthdays this month. Ronnie had a birthday this month. I had a birthday earlier this month.
Yep. Michelle had one. She ain't showing her face though, but
and my little sister.
Your sister's birthday. Hey. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yes. It's Aries season now.
Gemini.
Hey guys, I dropped my contact info in the chat, so if y'all want to reach out to me, for free.
Yeah, I gotta talk to you about Granny's house for real.
Nah, for real. Literally.
Hey,
hey, listen.
Let's do it, y'all. Let's do it. Like when I say it's a great time to be doing stuff like that. It's a great time.
For sure.
All right, y'all take it easy.
All right, guys.
Have a great one.
Guys.
Have a good night.
Y'all have a good one.
Happy Sunday.
Brother Rich and Mod,